Hey guys, welcome back. This video here is going to be on doing a quick refresh of your early Porsche 911 912 M calipers for the front wheels. First thing is always get your car jacked up nice and safely. I will put a link up there for that video as well. Next, go ahead and pull off your wheels and we'll get those exposed so we can get to those brake calipers. And off she comes. Roll this out of the way real quick. And you're going to need, there's two 19 millimeters that hold the caliper onto the bracket. So get to those two. Again, they're both 19 millimeters and on the back side right there. Take those off. And then there's one. And then number two is up here. And grab that one real quick. Make sure to check out my other videos on this car doing the whole front resuspension rebuild on it. Alright, you have those two off. And next I'm going to grab, and you probably should do this first. I just didn't get a chance to do it. That's a 15 millimeter there for that banjo that holds the brake line to the actual caliper itself. And with that, get you a drip pan to grab all that brake fluid that's dripping. And we'll just yank this caliper off and we'll get it over to the vise and we'll see how bad it is. And if this is your first time watching, guys, please subscribe, give us a like. Alright, over to the bench we go. Okay, so we have our brake caliper. Before we get started on rebuilding it, we're going to pull the pins out, pull the hardware and pull the pads out and see where we're at with those. So these pins just pop straight up, and be careful with them because you will be reusing them unless you bought a new hardware kit. So they just pull right out like that. And lift up. There they are. Those two pins are out. Now we need to push these pins out. Just use a punch. Stick it right there. Out they'll come. There's one. There's two. Okay, two pins for that caliper. And this here, just your retaining pin. And there's your pads. So that's some life left to them. But since we're in here, we might as well go and pull it all out. Okay, and in there you can see, yep, it's time to get redone. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to put this in the vise. Kind of pull it off to the end there. Right there on that mountain. There we go. And then we're just going to clean this off. Brake cleaner. Give that a minute. Put on our safety glasses, our safety gloves, and we're just going to take a little bit of this grime and stuff off there. wanted to give you a close-up of what I'm actually doing here. See that little space right there? Let's see if I can get a pointer right here. Right there. See that right there? That is that ring. It doesn't quite touch. When you take it out, it will touch. But inside here, it's not touching. You just need to get in there with a pick or a screwdriver or something and work it out. And when you do, it'll take that whole rubber seal with it as well. So let me get in there with 2 hands and I will get that out of there. Kind of see that a little bit closer. It's that little gap right there. That is where you find that gap somewhere along the circumference. Find it, take your tool, get in there, and just pop it right out. All right, I have it. See how it's, now it's kind of overlapping? And when you pull that out, it will take off that whole rubber boot down there. And you can see it's obviously time to be replaced, and that will expose your piston down there. Now we need to get those things out, and we're going to use compressed air and try compressing both sides and see what happens. So as I begin to push these brake cylinders out, I've attached just a rubber hose to that to collect all the fluid that comes out of there, because you know the brake fluid is some nasty ass shit. So we'll clamp this down and we'll drain the system and hopefully push out those pistons. So I did this off camera. We took compressed air and we hooked it up and we popped those out. That way we could get those pistons out of there. Just air compressor, put it on there and shoot them out. You may have to apply pressure for a little bit until they both actually kind of move. But when they do move, they'll move out. So, let's see if we can get these. Tap them out. There's one. And that's held in by a clamp. On that silver bore, just right here on that. The next thing we're going to do is get out, there's a little rubber, see under that black ring? That's its squeegee or the seal for it. And the easiest way to get that out of there is using a, where is that? Using this little hook to get in there and grab it. Let's see if I can do this. Just kind of slide it in there and pull. Again, so much easier with 2 hands, but I want to get in close, so I don't want to put this on the tripod. Alright, so I got it. Got it out of there. Just going to reach in and pull it out. See the hole where this goes into? And we'll just go ahead and finish pulling it out. And that's what it is. It's just kind of a square rubber seal that goes in there, and we'll do it to this side as well. Get both of those out, and we'll start rebuilding these things. Alright, so here's our caliper that we've torn apart, cleaned up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grease up the inner bores, and we're going to put in our seal kit and get this thing back going. So let's grab that first. So this is what you get for a rebuild kit for your front calipers and your back calipers. Inside the box, one box per wheel. And what you're going to get are the new rings that go around the seals, new pins for your retaining or slide pins, and new rubber gaskets that go around the pistons and seal them in, and instructions on how to install them. So that's what's inside there. So let's get to putting this together. Alright, the first seal is the one that's going to go inside, and it is just a flat circular seal all the way around, as you can see, and it just gets lubed up and goes in. So let me show you how to do that. We're going to be using the red rubber grease, and again, just like we used before, anytime we're using rubber, we want to use this, and just a little bit. So you'll take your seal, get a little bit of grease, put it on there, and I take usually one finger going this way and one finger going this way, and just make your rounds. Make your rounds around it. Make sure it's all good and coated. You don't need too much, so if you need, you can get it all off there. Okay, good. And then to install it, you're basically just going to set it in there. Get it in. Now it's seated in there, and just kind of work your fingers around, and it will just slide right into that cavity, that canyon. And get it in there. Sometimes you gotta hold it and slide it in there. There we go. Okay, and it's in. Let's see if I can get a close-up of that. And now, as you can see, it is in there. Show you from this side here, maybe a little better. No, maybe not. But so it is now in there. You can kind of see that black seal, and it is flush. Now we're just going to take more of our red grease, a very small amount, and go in there and coat inside the bore and on the pin that holds in the piston. So we'll just coat that real kind of lightly, make sure everything is seated down in there, and we'll do that for both sides. Take it and just kind of work it around, work it on the pin, put it up on top. Now we're going to do the other side, the inside. Same thing. Coat it up here. It's good moved up. Coming on this back side. Get it in there. Work it in. It's in. Okay. Then use what I have left over on my fingers. Kind of coat the inside. Make sure that pin's coated. Make sure all around that bore is coated. Alright. Cool. Let's grab our pistons. Okay, I wanted to show you something. Inside here is what the piston, that pin inside the bore goes into to kind of keep this in place right there. As long as this isn't seized and isn't and can't move and float like that, you're pretty good. Now there's a snap ring in there, you can go in and pull it out, and there's this cone, and then there's a bushing, metal bushing under that. I've been driving this car for years. It just needed to have this done so it wasn't seized up. But if your car hasn't been driven in years, it's been sitting, take the time, take the snap ring out, clean those all up, put them all back together. And it doesn't need any kind of lube or anything like that because the brake fluid will take care of it. But so we'll clean this up, and you just want to put a little bit of the rubber grease again, a light coating all the way around this before you stick it in. So when you get ready to put these in, they have a little drop. I don't know if you can see that on there. A little bit of a drop where this part here is raised and this here part is lowered. And what that's for is to help with brake squeal when these get pushed in. So as you can see the caliper, the way it's sitting in the vise right now, this is our driver's side caliper. So it had to be reversed. But when this caliper is on the car, it's going to be sitting, I guess if you're looking at it from this direction, here's the front bumper of the car. This thing sits over here like this. So maybe we should move that. So this is our driver's side caliper. So if you were to take this and apply that to the driver's side, the wheel rotates this way because it's towards the front. The bumper's here, calipers here, wheel hub here, back here. So when you go to put these in, you want to make it to where, so remember there's this little dip here in the circle, and it's about on here like 6 o'clock to probably like 1 o'clock. When that goes in, that 6 o'clock goes down to the inside of this. And there's a tool that I'll post that you can make and get it done, but that goes in just like that. So the lower area, not the raised area, but the lower area up on top, which starts at about 6 and goes to about 1 on the driver's side, and of course it'd be reversed, it'd be more 6 to 11-ish on the passenger side. That goes in just like that, and that'd be the same for this side as well. You would want the same position, you'd want the 6 down here and the 1 up there. So with that being said, let's just do a fine coat on this and we'll set this one in place. So just coat that. Just want to make a film on it, so just kind of smoosh it around. And try not to get anything up on this top edge here. Go. Make sure I'm looking good here. Okay. So, take it. And we want our 6 o'clock. Set it in there. Just kind of push it in to where it's in. Okay. And then check again, make sure that your dip. And once that's in place, take a clamp, C-clamp, get it into position where you can push this down. So as you can tell, you're just slowly going to draw that in, but not all the way. You want to get it to about right there so we can put on that rubber boot. So let's go ahead and just draw this down and we'll take it up from there. Take your C-clamp, kind of center it up on there so that lip's on the bore. And you'll start to feel it go. And it's slowly drawing it in. As you can tell, it's getting smaller there, that width. And you don't want to go all the way down. Take it towards just almost, about like that. So there's a little bit of a lip there that you can get that rubber boot on for when you need to do that part. So with that, same way with this one, we're going to coat it up, put it in. It's going to go into where, like that. And then we'll go like this. So let's go ahead and get this greased up. Next thing, take some denatured alcohol and you're just going to clean around, make sure there's none of that red rubber grease that's exposed inside there. And then get down onto the bores, and that's going to sit at. And then there. Okay. Then your seals should have some writing. That writing is what's going to face, it's going to cup like this. And go like that. So that writing is going to be facing out to you. And you get it on there. And just kind of, it skirts the piston. So just kind of work it around. Stretch it. On there. Just make sure like that. Good. Then we're going to have to draw this piston down a little bit more now that it's on to where it's almost flush and we can get that snap ring on. So bring it in here. Take your time. See how that kind of comes in there. You can kind of see where it's going to sit down into that groove. Okay, back that off. Now you can see it's kind of almost flush, but not quite. And now you're going to need to get one of those rings. So those rings, remember when we took them off, they're like a snap ring. Okay, so there's a bit of a gap. When you put that on, it's going to stretch, and that gap's going to be like that by the time it gets on. So, stick it down into that hole, or that valley I should say, and then just slowly, let's go this way. I'm going to go this way. I'm just going to take my screwdriver and go around to make sure it's in there. Go up to the top here. Just make sure it's seated all the way down. It's good. You want to make sure it's all the way down in that valley, that board. Okay, that's one. Same thing, outside edge goes onto here. Stretch it around the piston. Make sure it sits down on the piston. Make sure it's nice and kind of level right there. C-clamp. And again, you're going to just draw it down like you did before, just take your time. So I've taped off the inside. I've also taped off the inlet and bleeder valve areas. And we're just going to shoot it with a little bit of the same paint we used for the other stuff on our build. And just to make it kind of nice for now until we can get it sent off to Eric at PMB up in Colorado. So let's get shooting this and we'll get these brakes back on the car. Alright guys, we're all finished with this job. We've put the calipers back on. We just need to attach the brake line, but those 19mm bolts are at 50 foot-pounds. So we are ready to go. Make sure you check out the rest of the videos on rebuilding the Porsche 911 suspension. Alright guys, talk to you soon.